Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Double honors as always to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone who are well and who taught us this truth. Today's lesson will go into what you see on the screen right now. Something is coming down the pipe. Something is coming down the pipe. You know, they have preparations. They have plans for their agenda. Something is about to happen, man. You know, be watchful, be vigilant. You know, be circumspect, as the scripture says. Let's get that real quick. In Ephesians 6, verse, 5. Ephesians 5 and verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So you got to walk circumspectly, understanding the times that we're living in, as it also reads in 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Understanding that we are living in perilous times, we are coming into very difficult times, and you know, everything that is unfolding right now, from, you know, Russia, Ukraine, U.S., Israel, and Iran, China, Taiwan. Now you got Spain being invaded. You got them talking more and more about technocracy. You got them more and more talking about like Elder Yashwamba was going into you know, vocab Malone, linking the Israelites with you know, with the Nation of Islam, NOI, and there's just a lot going on right now. And remaining circumspect, remaining, you know, up to date, and keeping watch for what's happening in the world and within society right now, especially, you know, in these end days, these end times, going harder now more so than ever, man. Demons are going to crank up. Darkness is going to crank up. Speaking of ourselves, first and foremost, that means we have to crank up as well. Ephesians 5 and verse 15 again. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Now, let's get that word circumspect, just to, because I know, you know, it means alert, cautious, careful, guarded, on one's guard, watchful, alert, attentive, vigilant. What does the scripture say? Vigilant. First Peter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. So they're trying to devour us. They're going to come up with double F's. They're going to come up with they're going to label us as terrorists. Same thing happened during in Nero's time, man. Nero set fire to Rome and then blamed it on the Christians, which, you know, I went in the chat and was talking to chat about that. Lord willing, we'll bring that out. But, you know, that which is then is now. They're going to do something, man. Something is coming down the pipe. That something major, something very major is about to happen within society. A very big change, just like we've seen back in 2020. But it's going to be far more greater in magnitude compared to 2020, what they're about to bring, man. Very. So again, 1 Peter 5 and 8. We'll get in the NLT. Stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. When you get that word devil, this means deceiver. Diablos, G1228. Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. Metaphor. It says applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. So they're here to do the bidding of the spiritual demon Satan, man. It also says a traducer. When you get that word traducer, a defamer, speak badly of or tell lies about someone so as to damage their reputation. And that's exactly what they're going to do, man. Something is coming down the pipe very quickly, and then everything is just speeding up substantially, man. Very quickly is everything speeding up, and we're rapidly approaching the end, man. So that word, something is, or that the iodine, that phrase, something is coming down the pipe, meaning when someone says something is coming down the pipe or coming down the pipeline, they mean something is on its way or expected to happen soon, even if it hasn't arrived yet. It's an iodine that suggests an event, opportunity, problem, or announcement is moving towards you, like something traveling through a pipe. So like it says, an event, a problem, it is moving rapidly towards us, man. The phrase itself is neutral. Whether it's good or bad depends on the context. And we're speaking about prophecy here, man. Prophecy is coming down the pipe. Something is about to come down the pipe. And when you get the scriptures, it speaks about it was written therein, which it's Ezekiel. It was written therein, Lamentations morning. And whoa, we're on Ezekiel 2 and verse 10. And he spread it before me, and it was written therein. It's like it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. In the NLT it says, which he unrolled, and I saw that both sides were covered with funeral songs, words of sorrow, and pronouncements of doom. So in this context, it's not a good context, man. When we're talking about prophecy coming down the pipe, something coming down the pipe, a major event coming down the pipe, it's not good. It's not a good thing. It's not something, exciting and happiness that is coming to society. No, it's devastation. Devastation is coming down the pipe. Any day, any month, any week, we can just see something major just happen, man, and we can feel it in the air. We feel it. Look at this. That's right here. Spain invaded. All you gotta look up an estimate. Let's refresh to see if the numbers. An unprecedented, because we just seen it said 50 to 60. Now saying 60. An unprecedented 60,000 migrants crossed into Spain's North African territory of Quetta from Morocco over a 24-hour period. This was within a 24-hour period. 60,000 migrants crossed over into Spain, prompting right-wing politicians to describe the crisis as an invasion. At least 41 people have died. At least 41. So people's dying from this, man. Spanish leader. No, I don't want to read it. Spanish leader rushes to Quetta after tens of thousands of migrants crossed from Morocco. Trump blasts Spain migrant surge as invasion. Warns U.S. could be next. Let's watch this. Fair use. I haven't seen this yet. This is on a whim. Gotta get through this commercial. But, as we're waiting on the commercial, of course, we got to wait 20 seconds. But, everything is happening within society for a reason. It says Trump blasts Spain migrant surge as invasion, warns U.S. could be next. Donald Trump pointed to the situation in Spain as a warning about illegal immigration, saying the U.S. would face an even larger influx if Republicans lose the midterm elections. Now, let's watch this. Of course, nobody wants to go to safe flight.
I saw Spain yesterday, and I watched I saw Spain.
This is from Fox News, published July 31st, 2026, about 3 hours ago.
Yesterday.
Always a damn phone call. Slocky. So let's replay this. Always a damn phone call. I'm gonna have to meet up with this dude in about 6 minutes or so. I might pause it and then keep going depending on where I'm at, or I might call it. Go from there.
Yesterday, and I watched the catastrophe that took place. It looks like an invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people. And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected.
Wait. What did he say? He said it looks like hundreds of thousands of people. Is he foreshadowing for what's about to happen in America? Because it was only tens of thousands, but he's saying it looks like hundreds of thousands.
It looks
Could
like
that be
an
a foreshadow?
invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people. And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected, except worse. Much bigger, much easier to get into, despite the fact that we have built thousands of miles of wall, which I said we were going to do, but we didn't have that, forget it. But we have the safest border in the world. If we're not in office, our country will be invaded at levels that made Spain look small time. And when I watched it, I said, boy, I'm going to say it because I knew you were going to be at Camp David. And I said, that's going to be a talking point for the midterms. Because when you look at what happened to Spain, they don't know what to do. And it's happening again today. They're coming in by the tens of thousands. They're just invading the country. And what that is weak law, bad management, but very liberal law. They passed a couple of laws, and people read. You know, people are smart. They read from other countries, and they swam that 3-mile swim or however they got in, but nobody's seen anything like it. That will look good compared to what's going to happen to the United States. The biggest thing, the worst thing that Biden did is allowing 25 million people into our country, because many of those people are criminals. They're murderers. A lot of murder. 11,888. A lot of them are gone now. We got them out. But they allowed people to come into this country that you can't allow to come into a country.
Man, listen to that, man. So what I think, I'm just gonna end it here soon once due to rise, and Lord willing, I'll come with another lesson, Lord willing, going into this other one, which I looked up what happened to the Christians after Nero blamed them. So as you see, after the Great Fire of Rome in AD 64, the Roman historian Tacitus records that Emperor Nero blamed Christians to avert suspicion from himself. And then what followed was arrest, execution by crucifixion. Christians were sewn into animal skins and torn apart by dogs. So we're seeing that something is about to happen. That which is then is now. If it happened back then, it's going to happen now, man. And like me and the brother was talking about earlier, you know, that standard is going to be lifted. That standard in Isaiah, what is it? Just put standard just for the sake of time. Isaiah 59. Yeah, Isaiah 59 verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And we're at the end, man. We're at the end, and that the Lord is going to lift up that standard. But, you know, something is definitely coming down the pipe. Something is definitely happening within society. And it's not going to slow down. It's not going to slow up. But it's going to continue to get worse and worse, you know, as we get closer and closer to the end, man. Let me get this real quick. Waiting on dude. I'm going to keep going until he gets here. 2 Ezra 16 and verse. Let's get this. 2 Ezra 16. And there's so many scriptures I want to get right now. 2 Ezra 16 and verse 70. For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. That's starting with, you know, the men of the Lord. But you other Israelites, y'all gonna be linked up in it too, man. Everybody's gonna be linked up, but the main focus is gonna be on those who are preaching and teaching this word, as it reads in 1 Peter 4 and 17, that the judgment must first begin at the house of the Most High. And what we're seeing as well, and like the elder Yaswan was going into, Vocab Malone, you know, he's linked up in this, man, because he also said, you know, the main ones that are extremists and, you know, we need to worry about are the ones who are out on the streets. So they're starting to paint that picture, man, of who's who. Of who's who. So it says, 2 Kings 16 and verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So there, something is about to happen, just like it happened back in 64 AD, you know, 70 AD, as we just read about Nero blaming the Christians, which, you know, was Christian just means followers of the anointed, which was, you know, the church of Yahweh Shemi outside. But we're seeing these things happen. This might be him. Yeah, this is him. So let me see if I can finish this out real quick. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Let me just pop. Salaki, I'm back. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna cut out a lot of that, which you know, was noise, which was only like a minute or two. But so yeah, let's get that again, man. But I am about to end it. It says 2 Kings 16 and verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So, you know, we're gonna have to go through these things, man. You know, we just seen that Nero was sowing, you know, had his men, the Roman soldiers, basically like, you know, the military today was having them, the Israelites, the believers back then, sewn into animal skins and being torn apart by dogs, man. And it also said that they was Christian believers was having pitch poured on them and was being used as candles and lights in Emperor Nero's garden, man. So, you know, something is about to happen, man. Something is coming down the pipe, and, you know, everything is speeding up very rapidly. 2 Kings 15 and verse I think it is 16. Yeah, 2 Kings 16 and verse 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. So sorrows are coming out upon this place from every side, man. Everything is continuing to increase. Prophecy is continuing to increase. Prophecy is coming down the pipeline, man. And, you know, something is about to happen. Something major, something big. And one more verse 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims on earth. So we're going to be pilgrims on earth during that time, man. You know, be ready for anything, and be prepared, and ultimately stay prayed up and remain, you know, faithful, and keep your firmness in Yahweh Shemi outside. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the spirit, to the body, to the fold. And before I end it off, I think about praise, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Chakadash. Double honors always to the apostles, bishops, elders,